All right, we are talking about a win, Mark Jackson. That's a win. It's a win. It's a win. And it was a good one. As they were shorthanded, no Joel Embiid, no Paul George. As we welcome you here to Sixers Postgame Live, brought to you by Cure Auto Insurance, snapping that 4-game skid. Talking about people that needed to step up. Ooh-wee. VJ Edgecombe answered the call. Quentin Grimes answered the call. Adembona answered the call. Tyrese Maxey always answers the call. But it was a complete team win when you really look at it, and the bench really came through.
Absolutely did. This bench was tremendous tonight with 40 buckets, Amy, 40 points. And forget the offensive point. The Bona around the rim creating opportunities on the defensive end for Sixers getting transition, and Drummond being enforced down low has been incredible. This bench today came through.
See, last night, Mark Jackson slammed his iPad because they didn't shoot very well. Tonight, he's excited about it because everybody, 40 bench points, that's something we haven't seen really all season to that extent, because when people are out, the people that are usually on the bench are thrust into the starting role. So it was a limited bench, but I thought it was a really good sign. This was a good Timberwolves team. The Sixers are now 8-3 on the second half of a back-to-back. That's really big because they've got 5 more of these back-to-backs coming up. But we got to check out our Colonial Nissan Game Changer. And who else would it be besides the Max man himself? Tyrese Maxey with 39 points, 8 assists, 16 of 28. That's 57%. 4 of 7 from 3. That's 57% right there as well. 2 steals, 1 block. He was everywhere, and we knew it, and especially late.
And you know he was going to take this person with Ant-Man out there, because, you know, Ant-Man makes it known, like he said, he does this in his sleep. Mm-hmm. So, you know, Tyrese heard that from Minnesota's last game, as well as coming off being teammates in an All-Star win, in an All-Star game. You know they were going to come out and go back and forth with each other, and they did just that.
He gave him a little look there.
Absolutely. He dunked on the dunker. He dunked on the dunker. I got to let you know what happened there. I'm going to remind you so you can think about it tonight while you go eat dinner.
That's a great screen by Adembona to free up Tyrese Maxey on that one. But this was something, as far as the way that everything was executed, it was as good as we've seen. I know they didn't have Rudy Gobert, and they didn't have Naz Reid. So they were a little bit thin as far as like real true centers in this one in some size. But they still had guys that were out there. It wasn't like it was just a free lane.
Exactly. And they had their best player out there. So with that being said,
Anthony Edwards, who just dropped
exactly.
40.
So without that being said, it was a good win for the Sixers.
So Tyrese Maxey, who shined on All-Star Weekend, able to shine in this one. And you heard him talking with Kate Scott and after the game, and he said, "Listen, we're having more fun out there." You saw guys actually smiling. Quentin Grimes was out there. Winning does cure a lot, but even in the flow of the game, they just seem to be enjoying a little bit more. They're getting their feet back under them. It has to feel good to snap a 4-game skid.
It does. I mean, winning causes heals everything. With that being said, Sixers coming off the string that they've been on, able to change the tide, change the momentum. Hopefully going into the next game, we got the big fella in there. I don't want to say it too soon. But with that being said, we can use this momentum because Minnesota's a good team. They got a great player coming off an incredible weekend of last week, Anthony Edwards. And it was on the road. And you know how I feel about it. Yep. I love being on the road when you're trying to build your team.
Yeah, the T-Wolves have won 3 straight. They've been in the Western Conference Finals a number of times in recent memory. So it's a team that is very good. We know that it's Anthony Edwards' team. This is Tyrese Maxey's team, and we all know that here in Philadelphia. And he's had to play so many different roles with guys in and out of the lineup. Mm-hmm. Tonight you're looking at how many assists he had, 8 assists. So he was both the primary ball handler and the primary scorer. How did you like his role tonight?
I loved it. I loved he was outstanding. I loved the fact that he was downhill and other people relieved him. You know, VJ handled the ball a lot. Grimes got in there. Grimes, you know, everybody played a good role. And everybody touched the ball, Amy. Mm-hmm. My biggest thing, the reason why I like when everyone's touching the ball because it relieves some of that from Maxey. I don't like the fact he's a primary ball handler and a primary scorer. If you can relieve one of those things or make it easier for him, he can last longer in his second stretch of a game, meaning that third and fourth quarter where he's not as wore down.
Yeah, I mean, he leads the league in minutes in the NBA, and there's no surprise he had about 35.5 in this one. So a lighter night for Tyrese Maxey on that front. Let's check in with Nick Nurse after his team snaps their skid.
Yeah, I was going to ask Tyrese's performance. What made it so amazing in your mind? What were you most pleased with or impressed with?
Well, I just thought he was so assertive tonight in a standpoint of he was seeing a lot of similar stuff he's been seeing, and he was just attacking what they were doing immediately instead of, you know, sometimes maybe they've switched or they're doubling and analyzing. He just kept trying to make them keep up with his speed, and he just guys did a good job. I thought we were screening really high out on the floor, which gave him a lot more space to play in. And you know, he kept finding creases to get really good shots up tonight.
Is that just a sign? I mean, you mentioned that's some schematic stuff that he's seen before, like just a sign of continued growth for him as he gets, more used to this type of role?
I think it's just an amazing, like, mental adjustment for him to come in and have some tough games and then just, kind of know we really need him to have a great one, and he just does it. I just think he plays like that, and then all of a sudden everybody else gets lifted too, and that's what great players are supposed to do. And he sure did that tonight.
Is that, when you look at Quentin Grimes' performance, is that kind of the ideal,
perfect, what
you need out of him night after night, or want out of him night after night?
Yeah, he was again great, and it looks like he's settling back into the role we had him in earlier, where he'd come in and he might stay in for a really long time and move a couple positions while we sub around him and stuff. And I think that for us this year has been when he's played his best.
That was also a career high for 3-pointers for VJ tonight. I know we've talked about his shooting a lot this year and just how maybe it's been better than it was anticipated coming out into the draft, or out of the draft, I guess. Where have you seen the most improvement or just growth across the season of just him continuing to just be confident in that shot?
Yeah, just with him, it's kind of with everything. I don't think he really knows what percentage he's shooting or cares, or I think he knows he's put in the work and he's going to take the ones that are available. And whether he's had 2 good games in a row or 2 bad games in a row, he's going to probably come out and take 6 or 7 threes, the ones that are available. And I think that's a really great attitude to have. That's what he should do. Take rhythm shots, take bailout ones when we need him at the end of the shot clock, whatever it is. Yeah.
When he was coming out, did you initially see like, okay, no, he's got the tools to be a 3-point shooter? We trust that he's going to develop into this, or is it a surprise to you that he's been able to knock down this many already right off the bat?
Obviously the mechanics were pretty good, right? I think everyone thought he'd need some work and some tweaking and stuff like that, and give him credit. I think he's put in a tremendous amount of work to get better really quickly, and it should just continue to escalate from there.
Well, no surprise he starts off with the high praise for Tyrese Maxey. The man has 39 points, but there was some good stuff from VJ Edgecombe in there. You heard Gina Mizell from the Inquirer saying 6 3-pointers. Here's a guy that has been off and on with the 3. Sometimes he'll give you 3 or 4, maybe even 5, and then all of a sudden you'll have 1. What did you make of his overall night, that he was able to get so many good looks? Because 6 of 7, that's a lot of good looks.
That's a lot of great looks. But what's interesting about me is the way he scored. Yes, he has 6 threes, but he also took that team to the mid-range and elevated over them, utilizing his athletic ability. That was special because, once again, I keep repeating, VJ is going to always do the little things. He's always going to defend. He's always going to get crucial rebounds. He's always going to be in the right place in crunch time. Those things never change. But to see him be so offensive aggressive in the beginning and the end of the game, not just one half, but both halves, and I loved it.
So I keep a notebook, for everybody that doesn't know, of every single game. Both game, write down stuff. You guys know how it works. This is the first time since the Suns game we get to play everyone's favorite song. Mark Jackson, we're playing the song. Clap your hands, everybody. Yes. There it is. That was back, they were 30-22, 109-103 against the Suns. We're going to go ahead and flip on forward to the next time, which is tonight. That's where I'm excited. I'm so excited about this. And we'll talk a lot more about this. I have a lot more pieces of paper to fill up in this notebook as the Sixers get the big win behind Tyrese Maxey's 39 points. We'll continue to talk about him, check in on Quentin Grimes, Kelly Oubre as well, and the bench coming up here on Sixers Postgame Live, brought to you by Cure Auto Insurance. You could use drive in the sense of high motor, I would think, for this one, because VJ Edgecombe, he was everywhere. 6 threes. That's a career high for him. It's a season high because it's his rookie year. That's 86%. And I love that his teammates, you've been in this game when you know your guy's going, go find him no matter where he is on the court.
You find him. KYP, know your personnel. That means when he's hot, you find him over and over. And he shot it all within fluid. He was fluid in all his shots. He didn't really force anything.
Yeah, you can see he's coming off a little bit of a screen. He had to give and go a little bit with Kelly Oubre on the one. And then he just works his way, kind of probes the defense here and just gets just enough room.
Look at this.
At the buzzer. Love it. VJ Edgecombe, great night for him. 24.7 rebounds, 2 steals, and that's 6 of 7 from 3, which is a career high. 6 threes. This is everybody. These are leading scorers. And they had a lot of guys that are going to appear in the box score. But these are all the guys that were well into the double digits. 18 points from Oubre, backing up his 25 from last night. A very nice night from Quentin Grimes with the 19 points off the bench. VJ, I just mentioned, and then Tyrese Maxey as well.